Now I can almost see Bill as he finishes up chapter 2. He probably sits back and says to himself, they're not going to like that idea of the vital spiritual experience any more than I did. Remember, he had an aversion to anything that talked about spirituality, God, or any other source of power. And Bill had quite a problem with this deal. And I think he says to himself, I need to explain to them a little bit more about this thing so they will really understand the need for the vital spiritual experience. Because without that full understanding, they'll never do the things necessary to have it. And he wrote another chapter called More About Alcoholism, chapter 3. And in this chapter he talks about one thing and one thing only. He talks about insanity. Step 2 says we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Well, if we need to be restored to sanity, then it indicates that we must be insane. And this chapter is designed to show us that insanity that we need to be restored from. Now, many people in AA say, well, I didn't have any trouble with that insanity because I remember all those crazy, stupid things I did while drunk. No, that's not insanity. Those dumb things we do while drinking, that's caused by a mind that's been filled with alcohol, which, by the way, is a sedative drug, which lowers the inhibitions. And if your mind is filled with a sedative drug that lowers your inhibitions, look out, you're going to do some pretty stupid things. But that's caused by alcohol in the mind. Sanity and insanity is based upon wholeness or completeness of mind. Now, we're not talking about crazy. You know, if you're crazy, you've lost most of your marbles, and you're going to have to be locked up somewhere to take care of you and society. Sanity is defined as wholeness or completeness of mind. If your mind is whole, if your mind is complete, you can usually see the truth about everything that goes on around you. You can make decisions based on truth. And if you make decisions based on truth, then usually your life is a pretty good life. An insane mind is one that is less than whole, one that is not complete, and one that cannot always see the truth. And if you can't see the truth, you might make a decision based on a lie. And then your life's going to get in bad shape. Insanity does not mean you're all gone. It just means you're not quite all here. And when it comes to alcohol, we alcoholics seem to be not quite all here.
Yeah.
We make good decisions about practically everything else when we're sober, except for alcohol. Let's pursue that just a little bit further and see if we can't see what Bill really means when he's talking about insanity. Joe?
Yeah, we alcoholics got one little piece missing, the alcohol piece. Okay, most of us will admit we were real alcoholics. No person likes to think he is bodily or mentally different from his fellows. Therefore, it's not surprising that our drinking careers have been characterized by countless vain attempts to prove we could drink like other people. The idea that somehow, someday, he will control and enjoy his drinking is a great obsession of every abnormal drinker. The persistence of this illusion is astonishing. Many pursue it to the gates of insanity or death. We learned that we had to fully concede our innermost selves we were alcoholics. This is the first step in recovery. The delusion that we are like other people presently has to be smashed. And we begin to see Bill with his same writing habits of saying the same thing over with different words. First he says, and we have here, this drink, he will control his drinking is a great obsession. Obsession is an idea that overcomes all other ideas. In this case, if the lie overcomes the truth, it will make this as an obsession, an idea that overcomes all other ideas. When the alcoholic thinks about the sense and ease and comfort, this overcomes all other ideas. So an obsession makes you believe a lie. Now the next word he uses is the persistence of this illusion. Now, illusion is to see something that is not true. We can look at the old word for a magician was an illusionist. He would get up here with some props, sleight of hand, and he could create an illusion and make you believe something that's not true. So whether we can say have an obsession or an illusion, they're both the same thing. Later on he uses a different word. He says, the delusion that we're like other people present has to be smashed. We could call it a delusion. If you delude the mind, you believe something that's not true. Same as an obsession, same as an illusion. That's the state of the mind, and we're not, as Charlie said, we're not talking about after we drink. After we put alcohol into our system, this is caused by alcohol. But before we drink, an alcoholic has to have an obsession, or an illusion, or a delusion in order to take the first drink. Before you drink, not after you drink. Every time I went to the liquor store, I had an obsession, an illusion, a delusion. I went in there based on a lie. Well, as I went in there, I believed I could drink. See, in the last 27 years, I haven't had a drink. I find it totally impossible to drink on the truth. For me to drink on the truth, I would have to go over to the liquor store and say, hey, mister, I bought a bottle of that 27 years ago. It damn near killed me. Yeah. My wife left me. I lost my job. I ended up locked up in a nut house for 30 days. Now, how much would you charge me for another bottle of that stuff? See, you can't drink on the truth. I would have to believe this time it won't hurt me. This time it'll be all right. Before I drink, I would have to believe a lie.
And it doesn't make any difference whether we call that an illusion, a delusion, or an illusion. We would have to drink on a lie. We would have to believe that this time it's going to be different. This time that's not going to happen to us. This time we're going to have a lot of fun. Now that is to believe something that isn't true. You'll notice in that second paragraph, he said we learned that we had to fully concede to our innermost self that we were alcoholics. This is the first step in recovery. Now the only requirement for membership in AA is a desire to stop drinking. But in order to recover from the disease, the requirement is that we got to concede to our innermost self that we're alcoholics. And we're not ever going to be like other people. And if we believe anything different than that, then we believe something that is not true. We believe a lie. Our mind is less than whole when it comes to alcohol. Now that's all we're looking at in this chapter is our attitude toward alcohol. Later on, I learned I wasn't too swift in a hell of a lot of areas of my life. But in the beginning, I was looking at one thing and one thing only, my attitude toward alcohol itself. Now we're going to look at 4 examples. And in each example, we're going to look at the state of the mind immediately preceding the first drink. Stone cold sober. No alcohol in the mind whatsoever. Let's see what the alcoholic thinks immediately prior to taking a drink. Page 32.
We use 4 parables.
Second paragraph. A man of 30 was doing a great deal of spree drinking. He was very nervous in the morning after these bouts and quieted himself with more liquor. He was ambitious to succeed in business, but saw that he would get nowhere if he drank at all. Once he started, he had no control whatever. He made up his mind that until he had been successful in business and retired, he would not touch another drop. An exceptional man, he remained bone dry for 25 years and retired at the age of 55 after a successful and happy business career. Then he fell victim to a belief, which practically every alcoholic has, that his long period of sobriety and self-discipline qualified him to drink as other men. He believed that after 25 years of sobriety, he could now drink like normal people. Out came his carpet slippers and a bottle. In 2 months he was in a hospital, puzzled and humiliated. He tried to regulate his drinking for a while, making several trips to the hospital meantime. Then, gathering all his forces, he attempted to stop altogether and found he could not. Every means of solving his problem which money could buy was at his disposal. Every attempt failed. Though a robust man at retirement, he went to pieces quickly and was dead within 4 years. This case contains a powerful lesson. Most of us have believed that if we remained sober for a long stretch, we could thereafter drink normally. Most of us have believed that lie. But here's a man who at 55 years found he was just where he had left off at 30. We've seen the truth demonstrated again and again. Once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. Commencing a drink after a period of sobriety, we're in a short time as bad as ever. If we're planning to stop drinking, there must be no reservation of any kind, nor any lurking notion that someday we'll be immune to alcohol. This fellow believed a lie. He believed that after being sober for 25 years, he'd now be able to drink like other people. You and I know that once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic, we'll never be able to return to safe drinking. That's the truth. Now, if you believe a lie, and you make a decision and act on that lie, there's a bad thing going to happen. You're going to run into the truth. And the truth will beat your brains out every time if you act on a lie. This guy's mind was less than whole when it came to alcohol. He believed something that isn't true. He had an obsession. He had an illusion. He had a delusion. He believed a lie. He has a form of insanity. Now, is the fact that he is allergic to alcohol, is that his real problem? Or is it the fact that he's insane when it comes to thinking about alcohol? Yeah. That he believes he can do something he can't. You see, his allergy couldn't hurt him if he didn't take that first drink. And he couldn't take that first drink on the truth. He had to believe a lie, or he could never have taken the first drink. If he had believed the truth, once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic, he would not have convinced himself it would be okay to drink. But he didn't believe that. He believed after 25 years he could drink like other people. This is a form of insanity, a mind that is less than whole.